to review. Oops, let's zoom this in. Okay, so another type we're going to look at is in fact not another type. And we are going to continue to build upon our comparison. And this is going to be all your favorites. And I mean that like for real, because this is something you've probably done like a bajillion times. It's like been beat to death in you. The one type of story problems my students are always good at is proportion and story problems. So remember those story problems you did in middle school when it was like, a building, it casts a shadow that's 78 feet long. A person is 6 feet tall and has an 8-foot shadow. How tall is the building, right? And you set up the proportion. Do you remember doing those? You didn't do shadow proportions?
Yeah.
Some of us did, some of us don't remember. Okay, so either way, we're going to fill it in here. What is the proportion? No, okay, so we use a proportion to solve something that is a relationship like that, but what does a proportion just look like? Do we know?
I know, I can say so. This is like a realistic size.
Okay, so proportions are just two fractions set equal to each other, but don't freak out because you don't actually have to be able to do anything with the fraction. That's the beauty of a proportion. Okay, so if we have something like x over 7 equals 2 over 3. Right? These are two fractions being set equal to each other. This is a proportion. Now, we then have a couple options as to how we want to solve this proportion. Option 1, how do we undo division? Multiplication, and we could multiply each side by 7. Correct? Option 2 is that you can avoid that fraction altogether, and you can cross multiply. Remember talking about that in middle school? Okay, and so you can multiply on the diagonal. What is 3 times x? 3x. Right, and then we would set that equal to multiplying the other direction. 2 times 7 is 14. And then there's no fraction at all. I don't know. I'm on the struggle bus today, apparently. It's hard to talk and write at the same time and see if your students are following the info. And you're all looking at me with like weird faces right now, so I'm trying to decide if like, did we see this in middle school?
I did not. I wasn't in middle school. I know.
But this is like no matter where you were at, this is a middle school standard. We don't remember cross multiplication.
I saw it, but I didn't understand
So maybe we need to do some more work with this. How do we undo multiplication? I mean, you can divide this out and see what it is as a number or whatever. So are we at least seeing right here that we're multiplying on this diagonal and we're setting it equal to multiplying on this diagonal? We're okay there? And we divide and solve and we get here. We're okay with that? So, okay. I think I need to reevaluate because some of you are looking at me very strangely. So we need to start somewhere different than I planned. It's okay. We'll do a quick U-turn. Ooh. Okay, so we need to go a little bit backwards here because I'm seeing some very confused faces. So we're just going to take a deep breath. Okay, so a building casts a shadow that is 22 feet long. Okay, a 6-foot man casts a shadow that is 8 feet long. How tall is the building? Okay. So, first thing that we have to agree. This is saying that a 6-foot man casts an 8-foot long shadow. Do we agree that when we're talking about something happening per something else, that's a ratio? Do you remember hearing that word? And ratios are represented in division. Okay? So while we can say this is a ratio, that doesn't help us solve anything. That's not a mathematical operation as a ratio. So another way to represent a ratio is as division. So basically what a proportion is allowing us to do today is it's allowing us to talk about a comparison story problem that includes division. So all of this info over here on the left side is going to be info that pertains to the man. And we are going to compare that to info that pertains to the building, right? Comparison says option 1 versus option 2. In this case, option 1 is the man's info, and option 2 is the building's info. Okay, so now I am going to compare this to the building. The key is that you cannot divide in whatever order you want. Whatever order you divided by over here is the same order you have to divide by over here. Okay, so what is this 6 representing? How tall it is. So if we go this direction, this is the man's height. Now we need the building's height. How tall is the building? X, we don't know. What does this number represent? The shadow. So this is the man's shadow. So over here we need the building's shadow. What is the building's shadow? 22 feet. Now you could choose to solve this by undoing division with multiplication, and you could multiply by 22 on each side. That's fine. Or you could say, oh look, that's a fraction being set equal to a fraction. I can cross multiply and get rid of the fraction altogether. It doesn't matter which direction you multiply first. My students tend to multiply the direction that includes x first. Okay, so what is 8 times x? 8x. What is 6 times 22? Right, and then we will divide to solve. Would it be reasonable to write this answer as a decimal? Yes, and say 16.5 feet? Would it be reasonable to write this answer as 16.5 feet? Foot. 16.5 feet? Yes. Yeah, that's reasonable. Would it be reasonable to write this as an improper fraction? No. Are we okay there? Does that sort of get our brains back going to things we've seen before? We want to build upon this idea and get a little bit out of the, how tall is a tree story problem. And instead we're going to look at something a bit more like, you're gonna purchase, what does a kid want to purchase? Something cool that's not cheap. A TV. This price includes sales tax. You also purchased headphones. Oh, yeah, it's just a typo. Okay, this isn't gonna be perfect percent, but okay, you're gonna purchase a TV. It costs $983. That's the total price, sales tax included. Okay, you also purchased some headphones that were a total price of $87, and you know that the sales tax on that was $18. Okay, we want to know how much of the total price of the television was sales tax. Okay, what is sales tax? The added-on price that we have to pay. How do we calculate that added-on price that we have to pay? Remember we talked about sales tax that very first week too? Here's why. How do we calculate sales tax? We multiply by what?
No, by the price.
I mean, it is the total, it is the price, times what? Thank you. Times,
Is it like an amount?
and how do we get that amount? What does sales tax look like?
Decimal.
Where does that decimal come from? Comes from somewhere. Think back to the sales tax problems we did at the very start of the year. What did they say to us? You're purchasing an outfit that cost $85. It's on sale for 20% off. You also have to pay
Oh, you divide that.
something sales tax. And what was filled in there? A percent. Sales tax is a percent. Right? And we multiply with it. Multiplication and division are partner operations, which means we are dealing in the world of multiplication and division, not adding up a total. Right? We're calculating a percent of something. So like if you want to calculate your grade on a test, the percent of your grade on a test, what do you do when you get your test back?
You multiply.
Top times
No, top divided by bottom. Right? Percent, division. So this is a proportion story problem because we are dealing with percent, which is in the world of multiplication and division. Can we at least agree with that? Can we agree with two things? That we are dealing with percents because it's sales tax, which is a percent, so we need division. Can we also deal with the fact that this is a comparison story problem because we have a television being compared to our headphones? Can we agree with that? Okay, so TV, what goes over here with our TV?
X.
Okay, you want to put X on top, and then what do you want to put on bottom?
983.
Could you have wrote this the other way with 983 over X? Sure.
So then on the other side it has to be 18 because we don't have the same stuff.
Right, the sales tax is what we're looking for, so the sales tax of the headphones is 18.
87.
87 is on the bottom. Okay, so maybe this is coming back to us. We're doing okay now? Okay, phew, you guys had me terrified this earlier. So now we're gonna cross multiply.
I have a question.
Yep.
So I've already got my answer. I'm not gonna like say it because you want us to round up.
We're gonna talk here in a second. So we'll get 87x equals some ridiculous number.
17,600.
17694. And we'll divide by 87. Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, I just deleted. Sorry. 17694 divided by 87. 203.9 83793 blah blah blah. What does that number represent?
Oh, the tax on the TV.
How much sales tax you paid on the TV? So that's money. So how should we write this down? 203.38 because we're talking about money.